let's talk about Marcus Rashford. As you can see, he's behind me, which you'd probably imagine I'm Rashford FC. I was, probably. I loved Rashford. Since the day I saw him make his debut, I just thought, wow. I just felt a connection with him. Seeing him come on and score and just have such a love for the club. You could just see it. His smile, you could feel it. And over the years, he's just dropped off immensely, and it's disappointing. Um, Definitely in the last 2 years, it's been hard to watch. It's not hard to support him because I'll always support him, but seeing things, he doesn't help himself. The criticism, he's just walking around and he's not trying and he's down in tools. It's very clear to see that the spark is gone, whether he knows it or not. And it's sad. Obviously, I don't want to tell Marcus Rashford how he feels, but his demeanour on the pitch and the way he goes around, it just doesn't look like he's happy, which, look, are any of us happy really, the way the club has been going? It's not been a great atmosphere, and I get it. It's hard to be happy all the time when the world around you just seems to be falling apart. The club is in shit. So yeah, I'm not saying that Rashford is to blame. I'm not saying he's the main problem, but I'm saying he is a problem in a whole lot of problems. So, what doesn't help is the fact that his wage is insane. 350 grand a week is just nuts, and that doesn't reflect his performances. And people are saying, yeah, well, the club, they gave it to him. They gave him contracts when he was performing so well and he was doing great and all was good. And then it seems like now he picks and chooses when he wants to perform. From my perspective, that's what I'm seeing. Maybe that's not the way he feels, but I feel like watching him, sometimes I'm like, come on, move, run, do something. Like there's clips you see, and you're seeing it a lot now all over Twitter or X. You're seeing it where he's not even bothered to go in 50-50 to try and go for the ball. He's not even trying to jump for a header. He's just kind of standing off. It just looks disinterested. And these are games where we really need to win. The results haven't been great. So you're just looking at him like, come on, man. And then Ahmad comes on and shows what we need as a player. He shows it. And you see people with all their cryptic messages. You see ex-pros coming out with things like, yeah, this player wants to play for the shirt. And it seems like they're digging. It seems like they're just dropping digs at Rashford. And maybe they are. But does he deserve it? Like, people are saying he's getting absolutely grilled. And look, I get it. He's been in such a public eye for so long. He's been at that club since he was a kid. His whole life is Manchester United. And that's why I would love Rashford to be the player that he was. I would love to see him smiling and playing the way he used to play. But it's not happening. I get that it must be really mentally draining having your name in everybody's mouths all the fucking time. I get it. It's frustrating. But I just think he doesn't help himself. Like, recently, what really pissed me off about Rashford was when Ten Hag got sacked and he didn't even say, like, thanks for everything, a picture, just anything, an acknowledgement of what they had been through together. Like, they did win a Carabao Cup, they won an FA Cup, just something, whether you like Ten Hag or not. I just thought it was poor taste. And then, like, it wasn't as if Ten Hag dropped Rashford all the time or anything. He seemed to be a big Rashford fan, so it just didn't sit well with me that he did that, him and Casemiro. And then the very first training session with Amarim, Rashford posts like, oh, great session and all this. And I just thought, like, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. It looks like you're trying to either take a dig at Erik Ten Hag's lack of trainings, lack of good trainings, or you're now trying to be like, oh yeah, new manager, I'm going to get in with him. And it just didn't work like that. Maybe Amarim saw through it. Maybe Amarim actually contacted people and asked, what's going on with this? what's this player like? What's it like behind the scenes? Because, you know, we don't know what conversations have been had, but I imagine if I was coming into a big club like that, I would talk to ex-managers. I would talk to people. Like, you know, you're gonna ask around. Obviously, you're not gonna let that cloud your judgment, and you're gonna make your own decisions. But it's nice to have a bit of intel and see, okay, I'm gonna be wary of that and see how it goes. People are saying it's a bit early for Amorim to go in and say that he doesn't want Rashford, but it speaks volumes. I think the way he goes around, the things that I've heard anyway. You know, just the way he doesn't respect people. Like that clip with the gloves, people might think it was just throwing gloves, but I actually felt it was horrible to another human being to just throw gloves on the ground. All you had to do was outstretch your arm and hand them and say thanks. Like, I get it, you're in game mode and you're coming on and you've got things in your head, but naturally, as a human with respect, I would never just throw gloves down in front of someone instead of handing them to them. I just found it, wow, like that is bad. It just didn't sit right with me again. And there's just a few things, like hearing about the having an interview and during a question going down to tire lace and just walking off, not answering a question that was planned for media. Just really weird, really rude. Walking by people, not even looking at them, just looking through. And I get it, you're literally hounded all the time, but it seems that it's okay in sometimes. And like, you know, going off to New York or wherever he went for the few days off, doing that stuff like that, it just doesn't look good. What else? Yeah, there's just been a few things for me that I feel like this doesn't look good. Rashford, for me, I will always support him. I've always wanted him to be scoring goals, but now when he's on, I'm just like, it's the will he try today kind of mentality in my head, and I'm like, I really wonder what it's going to be like. So to see Amorim dropping him for the Manchester derby, like biggest game ever, you know, it was crazy. Obviously, my initial thought was, oh Jesus, did something happen? Was it disciplinary? I like how Amorim kind of says, no, it's not. It's about everything. You know, other people haven't been included as well, like Johnny Evans and whatever. But you can see when he's going on about, like the way you eat, the way you dress, whatever, the way he dresses, whatever. But I imagine it's the way he rocks up and kind of acts like the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas, the dog's bollocks, everything. You can see that that's what Rashford does. When he went to that basketball game, there's a picture of him like this. And I actually was like, is that Rashford? For me, it looks like, I thought it was Vinny Jr. or something, but like he's just swagged out. And I was like, it's so weird seeing him like that. And then sometimes at football, he just looks absolutely miserable. But yeah, look, it's tough because nobody wants to see a player like that, a player who's been at the club for so long, just kind of thrown aside. But I do feel like it'll be better for him to move away. It'll be better for the club to get, you know, that wage is insane. That should never have happened. And the fact that that's his wage and it's just left, even though he's not performing. Obviously, you can't say, oh, you played shit today, we're going to deduct money from your wage. But he doesn't, his performances don't reflect his wage. And that's the sad thing. And that needs to go. You need to get players out like that because it's toxic. And other players, we want all players on wages like that gone. Anthony, Luke Shaw, get out. Get out. I'm sick of Luke Shaw. Don't even get me started. But Rashford, wherever he goes, I'm sure he'll be a great player. I'm sure he'll actually feel revitalised and it'll be turning over a new leaf and I'm sure he'll do great. my fear is like there's Arsenal fans jumping out like, oh yeah, I take him. He'd probably do absolutely brilliant at Arsenal. But I don't want to see him go to a rival. Like, I love Rashford, but I do love him enough to say, right, mate, it's time. It's time to move on for yourself, for everyone, because you just look miserable, and that doesn't help the atmosphere on the pitch. Doesn't help. Obviously, there's been great memories with Rashford, but it's just weird. Like, because of this, because of him coming out now saying that he's actually open to leave and he wants to leave and have a new challenge with Henry Winter. Like, the timing of that is funny because you think, right, is it PR? Because Marcus Rashford, everyone knows it's all PR. Going to the school, that was planned, so you can't say, oh, he planned that just to get good PR or whatever. No, that was actually a thing that he does all the time. He goes to the schools a lot, but it just so happened that he posted about it. Yeah, there's a lot going on about him, and yeah, maybe he wants a bit of like, oh, look, I did this, and you are all so mean. allow it. But the fact that he had the interview kind of set up with Henry Winter is funny for me, because it's like, okay, I'm glad he's saying that he does want to leave, because good, at least he's not like, oh, I'm going to stay here and earn this wage and do nothing. He wouldn't do that to the club he loves, and I respect that fully. But I just think the timing of it all, it's always like, kind of like trying to be one step ahead all the time. Maybe he was a bit caught off guard with the whole dropping for the derby, and then he's like, right, we need to do something. His brother is his agent, we all know that, and we'll just kind of see what happens. But I feel like January is very close. It's nearly Christmas. January is in a couple of weeks, and if he's going, he's not really going to feature in any games. Have we seen the last of Rashford play for us already? Because you don't want him to get injured. You don't want a toxic kind of environment, even more so now that this has kind of come out. It's just all very strange. And I wonder what's going to go down. Amarim has a press conference now this morning, so I'm looking forward to hearing that. I'm sure everyone is, just to know what he feels. Is he going to say anything? Because I'm sure he will. He doesn't seem like the type to just sit on something and let it fizzle out. That's not him. So yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on Rashford. Do you want him gone? Are you sad to see him go? Like, don't get me wrong, I want Rashford to go because of the way things have gone in the last while. But that's not to say I don't love and respect what he's done over the years. And I wish him all the best in his next move, whatever he does. But yeah, I do think it's time for him to go. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, and hopefully you'll drop a like on the video. Thanks for watching.